if I told you that for the rest of your entire life, you could only judge people based on the way they treated you? Not their words, not what they say, not what you think about them, not what you hope for them, but what they actually do. It will probably change the way you see so many people in life. Now, what if you flip that dynamic and you change it to yourself? We all know that people will tell us anything. We all have heard the phrase that talk is cheap. But what happens when actions don't line up with words? What happens when people say they love you, but their actions show something different? In the example I gave, you probably were thinking about somebody else, maybe a friend, a family member, a lover, whoever, right? What if you flip the question? What if you flip the dynamic and you turn it around so that it's relevant to you? Based on you and what you've been doing, based on the action that you've been taking, how much do you actually love you? Yeah, everybody can say that they love themselves. Everybody can say that they like themselves. But the actions you take, what if you had to judge people solely based on the way that they treated you? Not what they said, not words, not texts, not intentions or ideas or what you think or potential, only the actions they took. It will probably change the way you see a lot of people. It might even change the way you view the entire world. Time, urgency, consistency, patience, so many things will be affected if you in fact had to change the way you look at things. If you are like most people, you are thinking about friends, you are thinking about lovers, you're thinking about family, you're thinking about coworkers. There's so many people that you could use this dynamic with and apply it for and just reevaluate how much they actually care, who they are, what your place is, role is in their life, right? And ultimately, when it comes down to love, you will have a much clearer picture of who actually loves you and who didn't, based solely on actions. But when I give that scenario, most people are thinking about other people. But what if instead of thinking about others, you look in the mirror and you ask that same question to and about yourself? If you only judge you based on your actions, what you do, not what you say, not what you think, not what you hope, not what you plan, but the things you actually follow through on, what happens if you take that question and you use it to look in the mirror? What if in fact the person who I'm asking you to think about, as far as love, as far as care, as far as actions taken to show that they love and care, what if that person I'm talking about is you? How good of a friend have you been to you? That scenario doesn't work. How about this? What if I told you that you have a choice between two friends? These two friends would be in charge of your entire life, your future, results, outcomes, everything. One friend is consistent and dedicated and comes up with a plan and takes action on it and does everything they can to make sure that your fate and your future are as good as possible. The other friend is passive, sort of lets life happen, lives in the moment, doesn't do much planning, doesn't have much forethought, and just lets life come to him as it does. Which friend, if you had to choose one of these people to be in charge of your life, would you choose? Which person would you place your fate and your future in their hand? I feel like most people, you're going to choose the first person. The person who's consistent and dedicated and plans and patient and takes action. Well, you are the friend. If you think I'm talking about somebody else in this scenario, think again. Put the mirror on you. If you are in fact the friend, which you are, what kind of friend are you being to you? Are you the type of friend who can be relied upon, who follows through, who has a goal in mind and actually takes the action to get it? Or are you the type of friend who talks about all the things you'll do, talks about how much you love, talks about how much you care, but the actions never follow up with it? Everybody can say what they love, but what do your actions show? If I'm saying I love somebody, but my actions show something else, what's really the truth? If a person tells you they love you with all of their heart, but then proceeds to stab you in the back, or not be loyal, or talk about you, or do things that are just generally harmful, or things that may not be harmful, but certainly don't help, certainly take away from what it is you're trying to do, how would you judge them? You are that person, you are that friend. How good are you being to yourself? That being said, I posit to you that love is in fact an action, not just words, not just thoughts, but it's actions, it's consistency over time. Everyone and anyone can say how much they love or care about someone, but as we all know, like I said earlier, talk is cheap. Thought does precede action. So what must a person be thinking when they take negative actions towards and around you? If thought precedes action and a person has a choice to do right by you or do wrong by you and they choose wrong, what does that tell you? And again, if you are the person and you have a chance to plan and create and decide and take action, but you don't, how much are you actually loving you? I'm not saying in your heart that the feeling isn't there, But at some level, love has to be more than a feeling. At some level, there has to be some follow through. At some level, there has to be some consistency. Otherwise, it's just a word that we throw around. Love is one of the most powerful emotions and feelings. But if we leave it just at an emotion and feeling, anybody can take claim to the word love. What about the people who actually follow through? When somebody says they love you and somebody else shows you they love you, which one is more real? Is the love the same? You say you care about those goals. You say you care about those dreams, but what do your actions show? Maybe you've been trying to lose weight. Maybe you've been trying to save money. If your actions don't line up with what you say you want to do, maybe you got to do some mental reevaluating. Maybe you got to think about, man, why am I taking action? They say that when it comes to achieving a goal, it's really important to have a why, like the reason why you want to do something. And I agree, it's really important to have a reason why. But even more important than it is to have a reason why, it's just important that you take action. So what I'm saying here today is that to truly love yourself, beyond just the feeling or emotion, there must be some action and consistency that follows up with it. How about a quick story? You ever go to the grocery store late at night or after a workout or on a weekend or after work or whenever? Maybe you aren't at peak energy. Maybe you haven't eaten yet. Maybe something is taking place. Maybe you're stressed, whatever, right? So one of my goals right now is to become my fittest, healthiest self, right? Well, if you know anything about fitness and health, they say that fit bodies are made in the kitchen. Though exercising and working out is really important, if you can't get what you eat right when it's late night and you just finished that workout and you are starving and you got a choice, what do? Do you eat the ice cream? Do you order that pizza? Do you get the DoorDash? Or do you eat the salad that you already bought at the grocery store? Or do you eat the fruit and the salad and the vegetables that you've already paid for from the grocery store? Don't look now, but the fruit and vegetables and salad or whatever healthy stuff you got from the grocery store probably cost a lot less than whatever you would have gotten from DoorDash or fast food, anything else like that too. But again, what is your priority? If your goal is simply to feel good while you're working out, you'll have those endorphins and you'll feel better. But as soon as you get to the store, as soon as you pass McDonald's, there'll be another opportunity to feel good. Love isn't just doing what feels good. Love is doing what's right based on the integrity of what I say I care about. And so what's really more important? Is it more important that you feel good right now in the moment? Or is it more important that you achieve those long-term goals? Is it more important that you get the instant gratification, or is it more important that you delay the gratification and see it through and end up with something even bigger, even greater, even better? Both choices are yours. Either way, time will pass. But this is something that so many people struggle with because it's not really explained in most cases. When you go to school, when you go to high school or college, how many people are actually talking about being disciplined and structured, having a plan? How many people talk about loving yourself through action? I can't recall anybody ever talking about loving myself through action. For all the biology and the chemistry and the physics and the sociology and all the things you might learn in school, we fail our youth and we fail just youngsters in so many ways by not teaching them the core values of how to be a good person in life. I would think that love would be one of the first things that we would teach about, but because love has become so diluted and convoluted, it's hard to really siphon through what's good and what's not. Ultimately, doing things that harm yourself, things that avoid, things that help, things that build, things that grow, whatever choice you're making says how much you actually love yourself. Don't get me wrong, there is the feeling of love, there is the emotion of love. But if feelings and emotions were enough to make change, discipline wouldn't be a thing. So you can love somebody in your heart, you can say you really love somebody, and you might even think and feel it. But if your actions show otherwise, what's really the truth? Again, at the beginning of this video, I started talking about if you could only judge people based on their actions, how would it change the way you feel about them? But you got to do that same test for yourself. If you could only judge you based on the actions that you take, how would you feel about you? If you could step outside of your body and look at the things you do, watch film on your life, would you say that you maxed out? Would you say that you truly did everything you could to show how much you love yourself, or maybe something else? And while we're on the topic of loving yourself, there's another thing I'm going to talk about a little bit further in the future video, but loving your future self. There are in fact 2 yous. 3 yous really if you want to go there, but one of them is already gone and there's nothing we can do about it. Past you, present you, future you. You in the past is already past. That's that child. Oftentimes when people have problems as an adult, it stems from something that happened when they were younger, right? But again, at a certain point, the past is already past. So the more you can learn to let go of it, the more you'll be able to elevate. But again, love is an action. So if you love your present self, You won't allow what happened in the past to dictate how you treat yourself in the present. Further, maybe the most important you to love is future you. Future you is what leads to discipline. Future you is why delayed gratification is so important. Future you is the person you need to be focused on, not solely, but at a really high level. Because future you is coming way sooner than you thought. Don't believe me? Just think about how quickly a year ago passed. I don't know about you, but for me, it doesn't feel like that long ago that I was a kid or a teenager or a young man in college. These things flew by really quickly, right? I don't know if time moves fast, but you certainly don't know how much of it you have. So the present is really important. It's the only thing we for sure have. You want to do something with the present. You want to be disciplined in the present. But also part of why you're disciplined in the present is so that future you has some money in the bank, some real estate with which they can work with. If everything you do is for right now, you'll eat the ice cream. If everything you do is for right now, why would you want to work out? Because working out is going to make you tired and not feel good. However, if you love present you and you love future you and they're both like really close, there's a happy medium where you can satisfy both sides. Past you is already gone. Future you isn't here, but it's more than likely coming, but we don't know yet. Present you is here right now. Sometimes the things that feel like love don't always feel happy or positive. For example, discipline doesn't always feel good. When you're out with a group of friends and everybody's drinking or everybody's stuffing their face with the worst foods in the world and you've been in the gym all week, you got a decision to make. Do I only focus on it? Do I only show love to present right now me? Or do I have so much love for my future self that I'll delay the gratification of whatever temporary things I could have put inside of my body so that future me can become their best self? So many people know the struggle of going to the gym and working hard. When I go to the gym, I give it everything I got. But then when I get out of that gym, my hunger wants to give me everything it's got. And I want every possible food I could think of. Fries, burgers, pizza, ice cream, you name it, I want it all. And so at that point, I have a decision to make. I can go to the store and buy some bad stuff. I can go to a fast food place or order some food and get some bad stuff. Or I can just wait a little bit longer till I get home, eat the right foods, and my body will feel so much better. Further, it's going to triple the dividends that I'm paid out, because after you work out, if you eat the right things, you shoot up. However, after you work out, if you eat just nothing but trash, it's almost like the workout was negated. No amount of working out can cancel out a bad diet. So the older you get, the more disciplined you have to become. But also, if you think about it, the older you get, the sharper and more disciplined you should become. In certain ways, your body may change, but your mind should be getting sharper. Your mind should be getting better, and you should be able to be more disciplined. So, please don't misunderstand what I'm saying to think that I want you to live a life of misery, of no fun, of never letting loose, of never enjoying life. I'm saying the exact opposite. I'm saying that if you can delay gratification, you'll have even more fun. You'll be even healthier. You'll have more life because you made the tough decision now. How many people do we know spend their money today and when they need it in the future, they don't have it? How many people do we know could have invested in Uber or Lyft or Apple when they was young, but instead decided to party and club and play and have fun? Delayed gratification is really something, and the more you learn about it, the better off you'll be. But again, all of this comes back to actions. Loving yourself through actions. The name of this video, the name of this whole game is loving yourself through action. While most people don't actually love themselves the way they think they do. So I ask you, the next time somebody says they love you, especially if it's you, take a look at their actions. Take inventory of what they do. Don't just listen to the words that come out of their mouth. Listen to the actions they take with their body. If they say they love you, their actions should line up. Because you can certainly bet that if they say they hate you, their actions are probably going to line up. But what about the love? It's really easy to be tough on others. Oftentimes when you talk to people, they'll say, I'm really tough on myself, right? Actually, human nature is to be tougher on others and harder on yourself. But if you're one of those rare few who can be tough on yourself, you might even be able to tap into discipline. So when it comes to judging others, it's really easy to look at somebody else in their situation and cast aspersions on them, to talk down on them, to think negatively about the choices and decisions that they've made. But I ask you, look in the mirror. How good have you been to you? Oftentimes people look at those who are less fortunate, who are in a worse situation than them, and they cast judgment. This person is overweight. This person is poor. This person doesn't have it. This person is this. This person is that. This person is something other than what they could and should be. And I can see that. Well, before you ever point a finger at somebody else, you got to first look in that mirror. If you aren't perfect, which no man is, you should probably not focus on criticizing others if you haven't actually handled your own affairs. So, before you think about anybody else, before you can even get to a place where you love other people, you first got to get to a place where you can love you in the ways where it matters most. Love is an action. Love isn't just a feeling or a thought or an emotion. It's a series of consistent actions. And those who take the actions truly love. Those who take the actions truly have the love in their heart. Those who don't may have something good in their heart. They may have some love in their heart, but it ain't the same. All love isn't created equal. The same way all cars and cameras and apartments and houses and everything else on this earth is not created equal, all love isn't created equal either. Love is one of the best things we have, but it's not just a feeling. It is the fuel that makes the earth go around. Love makes sunshine brighter. It makes those memories better. It makes the smiles and the laughter that much sweeter. Love is one of the greatest things we have ever. But love isn't just a feeling. If it was, then all people would have to do is feel and their love would be enough. Love has to consist of action on some level. Otherwise, how do you know? Love isn't just one thing and love isn't just a feeling. It's a series of action. Love is consistency. Love is patience. Love is doing certain things over and over even when you don't feel like it. Showing up even when it's not convenient. Doing the right thing even when it's not easy. Love is an action. Love is a series of actions. And if nothing else, I hope I leave you today with just knowing that before you look at anybody else in the way that they love you, you gotta love you the right way. It's almost impossible to love somebody if you don't really love yourself. So I ask you, how much love can you pour into another if you don't even have love for yourself? How much love can you pour into another if you don't even know what love is? If you don't understand that love is not just a feeling, but also actions and consistency and dedication, how much do you truly understand love? And how much are you truly understanding yourself? It's human nature to seek safety and comfort. And so when people tell us they love us, and when people make us feel like they love us, we tend to want to gravitate towards those places. Sometimes people have funny relationships with love, but generally speaking, humans seek love. But what kind of love are we seeking? And how do you know when it's real? Ultimately, when it comes down to it, love and the people in your life who you want to know if they really love you, before you get to anybody else, always start with yourself first. Before you seek to criticize others, look in that mirror first and ask yourself, how much do I really love me? So before you wonder how much another person loves you, it could be a spouse, it could be a friend, it could be a coworker. Before we get to how others feel about you, you first got to get to the bottom of how you feel about you. And it has to be based on action. It can't just be words, it can't just be thoughts, it can't just be ideas, it can't just be potential. At a certain point, love is something that is realized. Love is something that is in action. Love is something related to discipline. And love must start with you. This is the Infinite Evolution. I hope you got some value out of this.